Hello everybody, happy Sunday morning. I wasn't going to do a video today, but I wanted to, after last night, I wanted to touch base with you guys and bring up a couple of things. First thing I want to talk about is the misunderstanding that I've caused with using a word for kratom. Fire. In the kratom community, when someone tries a very good product, very high quality product, it's referred to as fire. And so it may be misunderstood as linking it to some drug. It's not. It just means good product. And I'm sorry that if I caused any confusion, but I will continue to use the word. I just want to make sure that y'all know that that's all it means. Doesn't mean it gets you high, doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means it's good product, okay? All right, now that that's out of the way, I want to talk about post-acute withdrawal syndrome. And anybody who had been addicted to opiates and quit knows what post-acute withdrawal syndrome is. It is the point that your body is through detoxing from the chemicals, and it's the beginning of your brain's healing process, and it's not fun. I was clean 2 years. I was not anything. No Suboxone, no methadone, no nothing, no kratom, nothing. I didn't even know about kratom. Had never even heard of it. And I was miserable for 2 long years. I was white-knuckling it. I was just so depressed. Like it's like walking through knee-deep sand with a cloud over your head. That's basically what it was like. I thought about death all the time. Death or relapse. Because I knew that I couldn't live like this. And the only reason I lasted as long as I did was because I had a good support system. I was going to meetings. I had a lot to lose if I were to relapse. And I had somebody, my Bernie, really helped me hang on. And I would go to bed the night before and be like, please, tomorrow, help me to wake up better. And it just wasn't happening. And so I decided to try Suboxone after 2 years. And so I didn't realize exactly what post-acute withdrawal syndrome was. I had heard about it in rehab and in the halfway house. I didn't really take it seriously. I didn't give it much thought, to be honest with you. I just thought my brain would, once the drugs were out of my system, my brain would go back to the way it was pre-opiate addiction. It's just not the case. Okay, when we stop using the drug of our choice, opiates, this is what we're talking about in this video, our brains have been flooded with fake endorphins, fake hormones, fake whatever, right? And so what it does is it decreases the natural production of endorphins. Our brain's like, okay, well, I got all this coming into me. I don't really need to make my own anymore. And since it's being flooded with opiates, I can't talk this morning, it increases the opioid receptors in our brains. Because we've got all these opiates coming in, we need the receptors. So it's increasing the receptors and it's decreasing our natural production of endorphins and dopamine, serotonin, all that stuff. Our brain just kind of completely shuts down. And so when we detox and that is out of our system, our brain is still not making its own stuff. Therefore, we plunge into depression, into lethargy, into hopelessness, into tired, into just a state of being that is unsustainable It was for me. You can't sustain feeling like that for very long, and that's one of the reasons I believe the relapse rate for opiate addicts is so high because of post-acute withdrawal syndrome. People just can't take it. And so it increases our sensitivity to pain. It's harder to experience any kind of natural pleasure. Our brain just does not produce it. It just can't produce it at this point. It's still shut down. And so there's a lot of factors in how long it will last, depending on how long you used opiates, the intensity that you used opiates. For me, I was shooting up to 20 bags of heroin a day and shooting Dilaudids and anything other pill I could put into a needle. And so, of course, it was 2 years and I still wasn't bouncing back. Some people say, I've heard people think from 4 weeks to 6 months. I've also heard years out. Some people may need to be on Suboxone or something for the rest of their life. I don't know. I am not a doctor. I'm not a judge. But I would rather somebody be on some sort of maintenance than have to deal with the hideousness of post-acute withdrawal syndrome. And for people to say, why don't you just get over it or just bounce out of it or just try harder or just think positive thoughts or just try being grateful makes a person feel even worse than what they do. It's like, why am I not feeling better? I've been clean 60 days. I've been clean 90 days. I've been clean 6 months and I'm still feeling like shit. Listen, it's because your brain has not bounced back. And that's why it's so important to be surrounded by people that can support you and love you until you can love yourself, until you can come out of this thing that you're in. And it's a physical, real thing that people are in. And whether you're the addict or you're the family of an addict, you got to give yourself a break. Not take yourself so seriously and not try to push yourself and hate yourself and thinking you're doing something wrong because you're not feeling good. It's normal. It's normal. And so I went on Suboxone after 2 years. I was only on it for a few months and found kratom. And then jumped right off the Suboxone. And I crashed. Because kratom is not an opiate. It acts like one in some ways. But my brain, although I was not experiencing any withdrawal because I had the kratom, my brain was in post-acute withdrawal. And I almost relapsed. And I was in a very dark, dark place. And I went back on Suboxone for a short period of time again. And then I weaned off. Slower this time, using kratom, yes, but I was lowering my dose of Suboxone every week or so. And so my brain was able to adjust. And now it's been about a year since I've been off Suboxone. And I'm using kratom, and now I'm microdosing once a week for my depression. I don't know when I will be able to be without something. I don't know that I will ever stop taking kratom. It also, because I am so painful in my joints. And I use it for pain, and I use it for depression, and I use it for treating my opiate addiction. And I'm not going to feel bad about that. And if you are taking Suboxone and you are happy and you are living in recovery and you are, doing great and it's working for you and you want to stay on Suboxone, knock yourself out. It's so much better than going back out and using and living that life. And so, unless somebody has walked in your shoes and has experienced post-acute withdrawal, they have no idea what it's like. And they can judge and say all they want to say, but in the end, we're the ones that have to manage our own recoveries. And, you know, what works for me may not work for you. And just let's not hold each other and ourselves in contempt because we're not doing it the way somebody else is. You know? All right, I think that I have covered most of that, and so I'm going to let you go. Could you please click the like button on your way out, share the video, and brightest blessings and Goddess bless.